Good evening and welcome to Voice It Talk Show. I'm your presenter tonight, Stuart Barlow. Before we start, we just want to give you our disclosure that we don't take responsibility for any offensive language because this is a live streaming. And like we normally do, we have our candle that's always burning for all the loved ones that we have lost in the COVID epidemic. And we keep on praying for full recovery. So in the meantime, also keep your distance. The purpose of Voice It Talk Show, it's a talk show that will be broadcast in English and in Afrikaans. The show is for any person, organization to voice their opinion in and around the world. We have a lot of viewers that wanted to be part of the show that have been victims in the farm murders and farm attacks, especially a person called Petrus that was from East London. He even felt that he could have come, but unfortunately we got one of the survivors, Mimi Jacobs, here tonight. We would like to welcome you, Mimi Jacobs, and I want you really to feel comfortable to share what happened and what experience you went through as a farmer. And we wish you all the best with the program. But just remember that we cannot go too deep in this topic with Mimi Jacobs of what was inspiring on a farm, because the case is still pending and it will damage the investigation. But we will be able to talk around what was happening and in general about the farm murders in South Africa. So Mimi, before we're gonna give her a platform, I think she still first wants to say something. Moment of silence.
Yes, thank you, Stuart, for allowing me, and thank you to all the viewers who's online. For sharing my story, but also I believe my story should bring hope. It should renew your faith in God. I am a survivor, and it was because of the grace of God. And I have to thank God for my being here. My existence is due to His grace that evening. My particular view is that mercy said no that evening, and that's why I'm surviving. I'm here today, and tonight, Stuart, if that is okay with you, can we have a moment of silence in remembrance of everyone who has been slain in South Africa, every single person that has been murdered, both on farms, in the streets, and everywhere else in South Africa. Just for a moment, please. Thank you.
We're just going to have a moment of silence. Thank you, Mimi. Right, we are proceeding. I had to go up and visit Mimi on a farm to really see how a farm looked like. And we're just gonna have a short video clip on how a farm look like before we continue further. Right there, we have seen a short video clip of how the farm looked like of Mimi. It's from Bloemfontein, about 30, 35 kilometers. And we really appreciate that you came this night, tonight in the evening out to come and share your experience of what have happened. But before we start, we would like to know how does it came that you went into farming, Mimi?
Stuart, my family is a family of agriculture. My father farmed on state land. That was over 3 decades. So farming is in everyone's blood, basically. I left the corporate industry and started farming once when my father passed away. And it's deep down, I think everyone in the family really is a farmer at heart. I'm on state land where I have a 30-year lease agreement with the Department of Rural Development. And which is an amazing project that they're running to enable farmers or black farmers to get on along with their farming activities. Anybody who wants to farm has got an opportunity to approach this the State Department for state land to lease. So there are various programs that the state allows. Now, like I said, I've been farming for the past 8 years, Stuart, and it has given me immense pleasure, but it's also a very rewarding industry. I'm a crop farmer. I do lucerne. I've been predominantly, I farm with crops, your cash crops, which is maize, wheat, and I've done a couple of grains like beans for Tiger Brands as well. I did barley for Heineken beer. So those were kind of the projects that I got involved in just to see what barley is doing in the Free State. So it was basically a trial, and barley did very well in the Free State. So I'm happy to announce, and for anybody out there who's doing or who loves beer, barley needs to be 100% sure there is they've got serious compliance that needs to be in order for you to produce for them. So Heineken beer, if any one iota is out in terms of either moist or proteins in the barley, then they don't use it for beer. They use it for farming and food for animals. So that's how serious they are about it. So,
tell me, you said it's in your blood. Is there any brothers or sisters of yours that's also in the farming?
Yes, I have my one sister just recently joined, a family actually just recently joined the farming industry. I believe I'm a trendsetter for the Jacobs family to start farming. My brothers are all farmers, but they stock farmers. I'm a crop farmer. I love to see things grow. My brothers are dairy farmers, and I must tell you that my one brother, Willie Jacobs, has won the ARC's not only provincial but also national award for emerging dairy farmer. So I must just say that my father's really set a good example and set the trends for us to do well and to, because remember, agriculture is a business. If you don't treat it like a business, it will also treat you by the way. So all the above protocols or in terms of business also applies in the same as in agriculture. So you cannot deviate from those principles.
Just before we continue, your father, did he ever went to school to learn about it, or was it a natural things in his genes just to be a farmer?
My father was a natural, and that I can tell you. When my father died about 11 years ago, most of the community members consisted of various community groups, black, white, everyone was present at it and paid tribute to his impact that he had on their lives. Now, my father has never gone to university, but he knew what to do in most, when he would tell you when is it going to come rain, he smells it, he would tell you exactly, and his estimates were correct. The local vet in Tweespruit and in Ladybrand made use of him, of somebody who's never seen the university door, but had such a deep feeling for agriculture that he just knew what to do.
So the genes actually was inspired in you as brothers and sisters with this of your father.
Absolutely.
Right. Right, people, you got a background of who Mimi is and who her family is, so it was just not a by the way farmer. That is totally in her genes to be a farmer. We're going to go to the sensitive thing of actually what was happening with the attack that night. We're just going to show you some photos of an attack and a video of how a farm, the house looked like after the attack, and then we will continue again.
The door, and that guy kicked for the second time.
Yes. At that moment, if she ran away. But this door doesn't have an thermostat.
It is poor.
Oh,
It
is
is
this?
poor.
Huh?
Also.
Stairs.
Yeah.
Maar wat ek sien, die voete, is dit nou haar kalfvoete die?
Yeah, I think so. Because the boots were there. I don't know if we are wearing those boots or not. Because it seems that they took her to that boot, not this one.
Yeah.
But the pistol is still there.
The pistol is here.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, and let's see that thing.
What is the electroplastic?
Ja, sien daar, die. Dan wat we record, daar is alles daar zo. Maar dat is afgesloten.
Ewe skielik
Ja.
te werk.
In there.
Oh.
That means you have the power. One for me, one bleeding. Maybe those just to blast help her. You can see she came in here.
En soos wat hy staal ook infeksie nog verder gemaak het.
Ja, nee, wat ons gaan dit daarom mooi keer. Skiet, ek weet dit is erg, maar ek mens moet nou maar daar voel waar daar Mens gaan maar daar moet maar extra oppies moet vat en kyk wat hier. As hy, nee, toe maar jy gaan jou nou omkap hierso. Jy gaan nou omkap soos jy gerol. Dis top. En daar maar is kon ons nog raai. Randjies. En kom trek. Ja, jong, dis maar soos 'n is beter as 'n bietjie bloei, dan weet mens hy raak skoon.
Ja, nee.
Jy kan nou 'n lekker stort van vat. Al hierdie bloed van jou gesig afwas.
There we have seen a video and some photos to really see this brutal attack, that we can totally see that this was not a robbery, there was bigger motives behind it. Because boys, you just feel if it was a robbery, you can't attack a person so brutally. My question to you, Mimi, is that how did you survive this attack? Because I feel God was favoring you in this attack.
Stuart, that's indeed that I have, when it happened, there's nothing that prepares you for that kind of moment. The terror, the helplessness that you feel when you know exactly what is happening, knowing that how many people has been mutilated, how many people has suffered badly and died, and you don't know whether you're going to be next. And the only thing was, I asked God that night to help me. Amongst everything, I felt with the first thud, I didn't even know that they stabbed me, and I felt it's warm, there's blood, and they demanded money, they demanded weapons, and everything of value. And in the meantime, I was praying, and I fought with God, because to me it was, I went in denial of what is happening, because I said to God, there's so many things that I still wanted to do. I don't want to die. And in my mind was such a fierce battle. And God heard my prayer. I am thankful for that. That, like I said in the beginning, that I'm alive. It's by His grace. I knew when the perpetrators left that I sustained some serious injuries, given the amount of blood that I've lost. And I knew that I needed to get help as well. So I struggled to get free, and I escaped the house, and I went to look for help on foot, alone, in that dark night. I went about 7.5 kilometers from my home, was the nearest farm. I struggled to get there, and I got weak along the way. And I had to remind myself that I cannot give up, that I need to fight. I've got so many things that I have to fight for, so many things that I still wanted to live for, projects that I haven't finished, people that I still need to do things for in this world. My children are still there, and they depend on me. So I went and I found help. The people called the police, and I went back into the road because I wanted to go back home. And I collapsed in the road. The police found me, a neighbor found me, and the police got hold of me as well. So what I want to say also, in that night, you know, that I'm so grateful to our farming community who assisted me. There were over 70 farmers that came from everywhere, as far as past Bloemfontein, Painsvlei, Bultfontein, those are in a radius of about almost 100 kilometers. But because the farmer was injured, everybody rocked up and came to help. So I'm grateful for that, and grateful also for the support both from the South African police and friends and family, people that mattered that night. Because in one moment you feel after such an attack, you wonder what has gone wrong. You felt so you felt so weak, and it was great to have support around you, and support in all kinds of faces. There were black farmers, there were white farmers, and the majority of the people stood in lines just to give me a handshake, or just to, tap me on my shoulder and say it's going to be okay. And I really felt that night at the hospital, I got further support with Mediclinic, where they, as you could see from the video, where they removed the piece of the edge of the knives that broke off in my skull. When I look at, and when I went for test, when it's such an amazing testimony when a doctor tells you that you're such a miracle, that God has been with you. And one of the people that who saw me pro bono and is Professor Wayne Murray, who did extensive tests on my eyes because it's of brain trauma, and it's very situated obviously near the eyes. He looked at me and he said to me, there's so many this kind of injuries he sees on a daily basis, and he stand astounded and surprised at, and he only described it as a miracle for where I came from and the severity of the injuries that I sustained. I sustained 3 fractures in my face. My jaw was broken, just above my eye as well, where they removed the, and I was sick for quite a while. About a month after that, I was hospitalized again. I had to, I was back in the trauma unit due to the extent of the injuries. I went back to the farm and started farming again because it's my passion, and you want to get, as a prudent business owner, you want to get back in the saddle and do the things that you normally do. And unfortunately, my health was not all there, and it wasn't the right time to get back or to be as busy as I was. But I just felt as a farm owner and as a business owner, you have to get back into the normal things, and it was also just important for me. It was a sense of belonging to be back on the farm again.
Tell me, how did this situation affect you and your farmers that's working with you there? Your farm workers.
My workers were obviously traumatized as well. In terms of financially, you had to incur cost to safeguard yourself a little bit better and make sure that you're protected adequately, or so we all think that you're protected adequately. So financially, it was cost that you had to incur that you could have otherwise have spent on the business. But I also realized that we as South Africans, everyone has to protect themselves, whether you're on a farm or outside in the neighborhood. We all have to protect ourselves, guard ourselves. When you're in a vehicle alone, as females or so, to protect yourselves at all times.
You mentioned here that with this, that we see this brutal attack that you had, that you are through, you got blood in you as a farmer, you are still continuing with farming. Why didn't you quit?
Stuart, giving up is not an option, definitely. My blood is farming, and I've related to you the story of my father. It comes a long way, and I think for many of our black farmers, our colored farmers that gets into the industry now, many of us started out in the rural places, rural towns, and I think to a large extent there are people who are in suburbs that are also farming just on a smaller scale than we do, because they've got vegetable gardens in the back of their yards, and they actively seek help. So I'm happy to see that more people enter this area and they are interested in getting into this industry.
Tell me, do you maybe, as a farmer, because we see it's continuing, farm attacks, farm murders, do you really maybe think, is there any reason why the people will attack these farmers, or do they see the farmers as just soft targets?
I think I'm actually not competent in this area, but I'd like to say I just think it's farm attacks are attacks of opportunity. It's crime, and the murders that prevails from this are opportunistic. You know, or remember that you're away from facilities, and your nearest neighbor is a little bit further away from you than in town. So every farm attack, I believe, has got its own merit.
Okay, Voice It feel that there's a type of imbalancing in the South Africans that can lead and not stop these farm murders. We just want to play you a video clip of a person, and then we're going to continue again with our topic.
Just begin by telling us why you believed it was necessary to come here today.
Wel, ek dink dit was baie belangrik geweest omdat ons toon solidariteit met ons mense wat vermoor word. Nie net op die plaas en ja, plaasmoorde is baie, maar moorde oor die algemeen. Suid-Afrikaners het 'n moordgetal vanaf 1994 tot nou van 60,000 mense wat vermoor is vanaf daai tyd. En dis hoogtyd dat ons begin wys, ons mense wat nie hierdie moorde wil hê nie, hoogtyd dat ons begin wys dat ons opstaan teen hierdie moorde.
And Colonel, why was it important for you to be here so close to the EFF protest?
Well, the EFF showed that they want to go, they want this plaasmoorde to go on. Hulle wil regtig hê dat hierdie plaasmoorde moet aangaan. So en ons het probeer om dit te stop. Ons het daarin geslaag om hulle te stop. Ons het reg voor ons organisasie het reg voor in die linie gestaan en ons het hulle gekeer want hulle het probeer om deur te dring tot by ons mense. Ons het hulle gekeer, ons het hulle teruggedryf en ja, dit is waarom dit vir ons baie belangrik is om hulle te wys dat ons is 'n mag en ons kan dit doen.
You've arrived here in the traditional browns which were worn by the SADF. Many South Africans would believe that in itself is antagonistic. Why do you wear the old uniforms, and are you still do you still consider yourself part of the old regime?
Ja, ek dink ons almal het daardie dissipline en daardie standaarde wat ons aangeleer het in die weermag. Die opleiding wat ons gekry het in daardie weermag, gee ons nou weer vir ons mense. So ons is baie trots daarop om hierdie uniform te dra. Ons het 'n oorlog beklei in hierdie uniform. Ons het daardie oorlog takties op die grond gewen, maar die politici het ons verloon. Die politici het ons verloon want mense soos Pik Botha, F.W. de Klerk, Rolf Meyer en Leon Wessels was aandadig aan daardie verraad.
There you have seen a video clip of one person. I don't know if he is a farmer, but not Mimi. Voice It feel that there's some whites that still don't accept our democracy. For instance, they come with the old defense force tactics. They don't recognize our South African flag. They come with their own flags. And we just feel that there's a lot of people that don't want to accept the new democracy in South Africa. And we feel personally that in a way is steering people up. I don't know, Mimi, if you want to comment on it. And we feel just that is part of a contribution. Instead of coming with a South African flag, show people you are 100% behind South Africa. Leave the old Defence Force outfits and leave the other flags and be a pure South African. I don't know if you want to comment on that or do we pass it, but that's what we feel it's part of steering the people up.
Stuart, I think you're absolutely correct that in saying that we should, I think we should pass that one. What is very important that we must all remember that South Africa is a democratic country and that everybody's got the right to say and do what they want within, but obviously everything that we do and say we need to account for, it's just very difficult to speak on behalf of other people and other. My question normally is, does a particular person represent the whole of South Africa, the whole of the farming or the agricultural sector, or is it just a specific group's opinion?
That's why I say some people and not all the people. And it is a little bit disturbing if you see that, for instance, if I go to our rugby stadiums and we are so proud on our Springboks, you'll see when we normally sing in Nkosi Kilele, then the stadium is a little bit quiet. But when die blou van ons hemel starts, it's like a thunderstorm. And it leaves a message for us at Voice It, what is transpiring. But to leave it on that note, we're going to have another video again, and we will further debate. Maybe it can also be part of this farm attacks.
You guys from? Where are you from, sister? Kwakwa. Okay. And why are you here? Why is coming here? Why was it important for you?
Like we're going to support.
Okay.
Yes, this case.
Okay. Oh, so you're supporting the case. Are you supporting? Are you in support of Brendan Horner?
Yes, we're supporting and we against the racism.
Okay.
Yes.
Who was being racist?
I'm not sure, but I think the white ones.
Okay. Who told you?
You see, there's another video from the other side of the angle that Voice It feels now again. That we feel that the political parties are sometimes just steering people up. There's a South African, and she actually doesn't have a clue what's going on, but they are there. On the other side, also, if you look how people can steer people up, and people blindly just don't sit back and look at another avenue. They just jump on the bus and go and do it. I don't know if you want to comment on that, or can I pass it also?
I think we can pass that one. I think it's very fair to say that once again we in a democratic society that with freedom of speech we allow people to say what they want to, but we need to be responsible. My personal prayer is that every political leader out there should be responsible in how they react towards certain situations. We are supposed to bring unity, or leaders are supposed to bring unity and not division.
Do you have any last word to tell our viewers, in your own opinion, as a farmer? How do you see the way forward?
Stuart, and I must concur with the letter of the President that was issued on Monday, that's the 12th of October, in which he says, and I need to quote him, that no matter who we are, no matter what community we live in, no matter our race, creed or language, we should be as deeply affected by the death of Brandon Hornan as we are by the many other South Africans who die violent deaths each year. And also that when we need to protect the people who are producers of food in South Africa, because we're threatening food security if the farmers are being killed. But so many, and I need to just once again quote again that the President is that we must work together to root out criminality, whether it is in Senekal or in the streets of Delft. Crime is not somebody else's problem, it's our collective problem. And we as a nation need to draw towards each other and become one. One of the, and I must just share with you what transpired after the attack is that there were more cohesion between black and white farmers. There are such a spirit of unity that evolved not only in my area after my attack, but also in other parts of South Africa as well, where you see that people get together, and it's a God thing, it's not a political thing. This is how we all South Africans, and South Africa belongs to each and every one of us, and I just feel that we should give us each other space in which we can operate, but we need to really protect the people who's producing food for South Africa.
People there, you have heard it from a survivor, I would say a godly survivor, because if you look at the situation, she should have been buried long ago, and we really need to wake up and work truly as South Africans together. In our COVID situation, people were crying about there's no liquor or there's no cigarettes. Just think if there's no food, what is that going to happen? On this note, we're going to say thank you to everyone, and especially to our farmer here. We really appreciate it that you drive all the way so far from your farm to come and share your story with us. And we wish you all the best with your farm. I'll definitely go and visit the farm again, but she let me walk on that farm, so I think I'll get fit again there. So on this note, I would like to say in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have Colonel Thabo Kobane. He's from Corporate Communication and Lions Service Officer, Mangaung Metro, South African Police Service. We have given him already some things, a mandate, what we want to talk about. It's your rights when it comes to the police that we're going to listen. We're going to talk about hotspots where you need to avoid. We're going to talk about police stations that's not serving the people properly. So thank you again for all the viewers, and we'd like to see your comments on our shows. And until the next 2 weeks, God bless and stay safe.